Creating options can increase access to your design. Lessons learned from Universal Design for Learning. You've probably heard the expression that one size fits all. Do you think this is true or false? There are definitely situations in which one size fits all, but oftentimes a diverse group of users will need a diverse group of designs. Try to think of some of the times when one size fits all is true for you and your friends and for other people using a product, and when different people would need a different design to fit their needs and interests and abilities. Imagine, for instance, you went to a school where all the books were printed in Braille. Would you be able to read? Or, for instance, if all of your classes were taught in Haitian Creole, would you be able to study in class? Here's one last example. What if, in order to get into each classroom, you had to climb a rope? Do you think you would go to class? These might sound like ridiculous examples of barriers, but for many students, there are barriers to school that come about from a one-size-fits-all approach that doesn't really fit their needs and interests. For a school context, this might mean students who struggle with reading, who struggle to see the board, who struggle to hear their teacher, or who struggle to work with peers. The basic idea is that people are diverse, so we can design for diversity by creating options. When one size fits all won't work, as a designer, you can give people options in three main ways. Options for representation. That has to do with how we take in the world around us, whether we're seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, experiencing. Options for engagement. That has to do with our emotions and our motivation. Are we excited to learn something new? Are we nervous to learn something new? Are we motivated to make good grades, or are we motivated to learn a skill that we can apply later? And finally, options for expression. Think of all the different ways you can express yourself. People might have different preferences to either talk about their experience, write about their experience, draw a picture, create a movie, or otherwise express the new concept they've learned. In order to talk through each of these types of options, we're going to use an example of meeting a dog for the very first time. So imagine that this is your first encounter with a dog. A few options for representation. You might want to watch the dog run around. You might want to listen to the dog bark. You might want to pet the dog's fur. Or you might want to read a book about dogs to learn more information about it. Now, options for engagement. Your feelings about the dog are going to impact your experience. You might be really excited to meet a dog for the first time. You might be very nervous. Maybe you're a little bit worried, but you're trying to play it cool. Or maybe you love dogs and you're thrilled for this experience. Whether you're motivated to take care of the dog because you want it to do well in life, or you're motivated to get away from the dog because you're very scared of it, you're going to approach this situation very differently. So your preferences for engagement really matter when someone's designing this experience of you meeting a dog. The third type of options is options for expression. How are you going to communicate the experience that you just had with the dog? So imagine you have met this dog and now you want to let your friends know about it. Some people are going to prefer to talk about their experience. Others will want to draw their experience or create a video of what they experienced. Some might want to write a story or even create a sculpture of the dog. All of these are equally valid ways to express yourself and equally valid actions to take to communicate the experience you just had. So the big idea is that creating options can increase access because people are different and they have different preferences. So if you're trying to design a great experience for diverse people, try to create options for how users take in information, that's representation, how the user feels, that's engagement, and how the user communicates their new understanding, that's expression.